Hello, my name is Juan and I'm doing this presentation for talking about my option degree that is modeling of wireless channels for satellite communication by means of simulation. And my mentor is the Dr. Diego Renza Torres. So for starting this presentation, I will talking about first of all about Quadriga Channel Modeler. That is the software that I am working it. So first of all, we have to take in count that Quadriga works with or like with the hand of a MATLAB. That is a kind of indexation that you can install in MATLAB and you can work with their own code. So Quadriga is a software for generating realistic radio channel impulse by response for the system level simulation of mobile networks, also for doing channels or simulation of satellite connections. And this software is developed by the Herman enterprise that is Rohde & Schwarz. Next, I will talking about my challenge. So we have to know that now in this modern world of telecommunication, we have a lot of types of connections, and one of those is the connection between terrestrial and non-terrestrial networks. That is like a new kind of connection that we have in our global world, and we have to take in account that this will be one of the most important types of connectivity that we will have in the future. And talking about this challenge that I have and taking in account all the information that I have like having through this processing of my degree option is first of all how can effective methodology for modeling wireless channels specifically designed for satellite communication. That is the area that I'm trying like to work in. Next, how can effectiveness and applicability of the purpose modeling of the methodology that I will be working in can be evaluated for satellite communications? And finally, how can actual satellite communication channels data and measurements will be used to improve this methodology? And this is my goals. So the first goal is document the options and limitation of the tool. The second goal is develop a simulation guide of wireless channel models, and next modeling wireless channels for satellite communication, and finally evaluating the advantages of the software as an academic tool. So talking about all of these goals, I have developed one question of each one. So for the first goal, I have that what are the available options and limitations that we have in Quadriga Channel Modeler tool. Next is can a comprehensive simulation design guide for wireless channel models by using Quadriga Channel Modeler can make that we have better practice or like key considerations of working with those software. Next is how can Quadriga Channel Modeler support the modeling of wireless channels and specifically for my area that is satellite communication systems. And finally, what are the advantages of using Quadriga Channel Modeler software as an academic tool? This is the methodology that I'm working with and is Prisma. So taking in account all the information and all the recopilation of areas that I have to study for doing this work, I have like to condense all of those information by using like one phrase for using in the research basis for having the best information that can help me for doing my work. So I'm working with Scopus and Google Scholar and taking into account all the areas that can work in this option degree. I finally decide to use the next phrase that is modeling or simulating and wireless and channels or networks and satellite and communication. So I have to take into account that I am modeling, simulating, also doing it for wireless channels, networks, and also for satellite communication. So we can see that all of those areas are in this phrase. And taking out the information that I say before, we can see here some of the written reports of the articles that I have been using for my option degree. So first we have like Quadriga, MIMO channel model for land mobile satellite, and quasi-deterministic channel modeling and experimental validation, and massive in MIMO development topologies. So by using these two articles, I'm working with these two, like to resolve the first and the second question, that is like the optional configuration and the development of simulations in Quadriga channel modeler. And for the third question, I have this article that is a 5G non-terrestrial network satellite extension for Quadriga channel modeler. And this is like more specific for the area of satellite communication. So we can see that this is one of the most important articles for the third goal that I have to work with. Finally, these are like the solutions that I have used by the articles I say before. So for the first goal is to document the optional limitation of the tool. As we can see in the images, if you can see, I have like Quadriga and 3GPP 3D. And this is like a comparison between these two simulation tools and how they make the measurements of all the simulations, and they are like the differences. So I can see here like the limitation or the options that I have by using Quadriga or another simulation tool. Also, we have like in the down of part of the presentation, like how I can configure and how I can work with Quadriga. So we have like the input variables, how they calculate, how they make the drifting, and also how we can apply that to the Quadriga channel modeler. And the third image is like how they make the processing and the post-processing of the variables and the speed. Also taking into account all the snapshots that we have from the software. Next, how can I develop a simulation design guide of wireless channel? So this is not like a guide, but these images are helping me for like taking all the information of the measurements, so we can see like loss and loss, so with line of sight or without line of sight, how the measurements have to be in those places, or like we can see the dB loss. So how is like the how the configurations patterns can change my results. So we can see here that this is like a more specific base of data for making my simulations. And finally, for the third goal is how I can model specifically for satellite communication. So as we can see, we have like a really similar table of the before. So we can see like how the measurements changes why you change like the configurations. And so we can see here like which are all of the configuration, like dense urban, suburban. So it depends of those changes how my data will change. Also in the right part we can see how Quadriga works for the satellite simulation. So we have random satellite orbital position, random empty position of the Earth, and how I have like the random end loss and how they work with the hand of the all of the measurements that we have in 3GPP. And finally, like an image of the more theoretic part, that is how these satellite communications works. And as a conclusion, so I have to say that through this phase of my option degree, I have immersed a lot in how Quadriga channel modeler works. I also have been investigating, doing simulations, and study all the configurable patterns that we have in these simulation tools. That is, we don't have too much information, so for me has been really difficult for working with, but taking all the help by my mentor and also with all of those articles that I say before, I trying to work in this application. So also I have to continue working with these practical applications with Quadriga, and also more for the wireless communication scenarios and also for the satellite communication that are like a difficult part of my work, and also finally for a heading or like trying to finally see all the challenges, opportunities, and also helping for academic journeys for using these kind of tools. Thank you.